Story 1. Sabbath and the Sacred Pause. In the traditions of ancient Israel, where time itself was understood as something structured, intentional, and sacred, the practice of the Sabbath emerges not as an afterthought, but as a command woven into the rhythm of life, a designated space within time where action ceases and presence takes its place. And unlike rest that comes from exhaustion or necessity, the Sabbath is entered deliberately, marked by preparation, intention, and awareness. Beginning at sundown on the seventh day, when work is set aside not because it is finished, but because it is time to stop. This distinction is essential, for the Sabbath teaches that rest is not earned only through completion, but is inherent, a necessary part of creation itself, reflecting the pattern described in the opening of Genesis, where even after the act of creation there was a pause, a moment set apart and recognized as holy, establishing that rest is not separate from purpose, but integral to it. During the Sabbath, activities that involve labor, production, or control are intentionally avoided, creating a space where individuals and communities shift from doing to being, from striving to receiving, and this shift allows for something deeper to emerge, a reconnection to presence, to relationship, to awareness that is often lost in continuous motion. And rituals such as lighting candles, sharing meals, and offering blessings create a structure that supports this transition, marking the time as distinct, not ordinary, but set apart. The Sabbath is not simply a break, but a recalibration, a return to alignment, where identity is no longer tied to productivity, but to existence itself. And within this space, individuals are reminded that they are not defined by what they produce, but by who they are, a realization that can only occur when the constant demand to act is temporarily released. This practice reveals that rest is not passive, but active in its own way, requiring discipline to enter, awareness to maintain, and willingness to release control. And in doing so, it creates the conditions for renewal, allowing the body, mind, and spirit to integrate what has been experienced, to settle into what has been learned, and to prepare for what will come next without force. The Sabbath also carries a communal dimension, bringing people together in shared stillness, reinforcing that rest is not an isolated act, but a collective one, where the pace of life slows not just for the individual, but for the community as a whole, creating a shared experience of presence and connection. In the end, the Sabbath stands as a powerful reminder that rest is not something to be postponed or overlooked, but something to be honored, that without it, movement loses clarity, purpose becomes strained, and the journey itself becomes fragmented, and that by intentionally stepping into rest, we do not fall behind, but realign, allowing what has been carried to settle into something meaningful, showing that rest is not the absence of progress, but the space where progress becomes whole. Story 2. The Eleusinian Mysteries and the Rest of Understanding. In the ancient lands of Greece, where myth and ritual intertwined to guide both the living and their understanding of what lay beyond, the Eleusinian Mysteries stood as one of the most sacred and guarded traditions, a series of initiatory rites held in Eleusis that centered around the story of Demeter and her daughter Persephone, a myth that speaks not only of loss and return, but of a deeper rhythm of life, death, and renewal. When Persephone was taken into the underworld by Hades, Demeter's grief caused the earth itself to wither, halting growth and plunging the world into barrenness. And it was only through the eventual agreement that Persephone would return for part of the year that balance was restored, creating the cycle of seasons, a movement between descent and return that mirrors the human experience of loss and recovery. Those who participated in the mysteries underwent a process that was intentionally hidden from the outside world, not out of exclusion, but out of reverence. For what was experienced within could not be fully expressed through language. And initiates move through stages of preparation, purification, and symbolic descent, reflecting the journey of Persephone herself, before arriving at a moment of revelation, where what had been feared or unknown was understood in a new way, transforming not the external world, but the perception of it. The significance of the mysteries did not lie in what was done, but in what was realized. For those who completed the rites were said to lose their fear of death, gaining instead a sense of continuity, an understanding that existence did not end, but changed form. And this shift in awareness created a profound sense of peace, a resting not of the body alone, but of the mind, no longer caught in resistance to the inevitable cycles of life. This form of rest is different from simple stillness, for it emerges from understanding, from having moved through uncertainty and arrived at clarity. And in this, the Eleusinian Mysteries reveal that true recovery is not only physical, but existential, a settling into the truth of how life unfolds, allowing the individual to move forward without the same tension or fear that once shaped their experience. The rituals themselves were repeated year after year, not because they lost meaning, but because they reflected a cycle that continued, reminding participants that rest and renewal are not singular events, but ongoing processes, requiring repeated engagement and acknowledgement. This story shows that rest is not always found in stopping, but in understanding. That when something is fully seen and integrated, it no longer creates unrest. And that the deepest form of recovery comes not from escape, but from alignment with the rhythms that govern existence itself. In the end, the Eleusinian Mysteries stand as a reminder that there is a form of peace that can only be reached by passing through what is unknown, by facing what is feared, and by emerging with a new perspective that allows the mind to finally settle, showing that rest is not only the absence of movement, but the presence of understanding, a quiet knowing that allows the journey to continue without resistance, grounded in the awareness that all things move in cycles, and that within those cycles, there is always a return. Story 3, Obon and the Return of the Ancestors. In the traditions of Japan, where the boundary between the living and those who came before is not seen as a separation, but as a relationship, the festival of Obon unfolds as a time of remembrance, return, and quiet reconnection, a period when it is believed that the spirits of ancestors come back to visit the world of the living, not as distant figures, but as present and honored members of the family. And within this time, homes are prepared with care. Altars are arranged with offerings of food, light, and incense, creating a space that welcomes but continued to exist in a different form, still connected, still part of the ongoing story. The festival begins with the lighting of lanterns, guiding spirits back to their families, a symbolic act that represents both invitation and recognition, acknowledging that connection does not end with death. And as the days unfold, families gather, visit graves, clean and care for resting places, and participate in dances such as Bon Odori, which are not performed in solemn silence, but in movement and rhythm, celebrating the continuity of life in the presence of those who came before. And through these acts, remembrance becomes active, something lived rather than simply felt. At the close of Obon, lanterns are once again lit, this time set afloat or released into the distance, guiding the spirits back to where they came from, marking a gentle and intentional farewell, not one of loss, but of completion, recognizing that the time of return has ended and that both the living and the departed will continue on their respective paths. This cycle of welcome and release reflects a deeper understanding of rest, not as isolation, but as connection, as the ability to exist within the flow of relationships that extend beyond a single lifetime. And in this, Obon reveals that recovery is not only about the self, but about remembering that we are part of something larger, that we are supported, shaped, and accompanied by those who came before us, and that acknowledging this connection allows for a different kind of peace to emerge. The stillness found within Obon is not empty, but full, filled with memory, gratitude, and presence, creating a space where the past is not carried as weight, but held as foundation, and where the individual can rest not in separation, but in belonging. This story shows that rest is not always found in solitude, but in reconnection, that by honoring where we come from, we create stability within ourselves, allowing us to move forward without feeling untethered, that the act of remembering becomes a form of grounding, a way of settling into the truth that we are not alone in our journey. In the end, Obon stands as a reminder that rest is not only physical or mental, but relational, that peace can be found in acknowledging the continuity of life, that by creating space for both presence and release, we allow the cycle to complete naturally, carrying forward not absence, but connection, showing that what remains is not just memory, but relationship, gently guiding us as we continue on. Story 4: Harvest, Rest, and the Rhythm of Completion. Across many regions of West Africa, where life has long been shaped by the rhythms of land, season, and community, the period following the harvest is not treated as an afterthought, but as an essential phase of the cycle, a time where work gives way to rest, not out of exhaustion alone, but as a recognition that something has been completed and must now be allowed to settle. And within agricultural communities, the harvest marks the culmination of sustained effort, planting, tending, protecting, and gathering, all carried out with patience and awareness of forces beyond human control. When the crops are finally brought in, there is an understanding that the work is not immediately replaced by new labor, but by pause, by acknowledgement, by collective exhale. This period of rest often takes the form of communal gatherings, festivals, and shared meals, where the focus shifts from production to connection, reinforcing that what has been achieved is not only individual, but shared, and that the success of the harvest belongs to the community as a whole. And in this, rest becomes relational, a space where people come together not to prepare for the next task, but to recognize what has already been accomplished. Within these traditions, there is also an awareness that the land itself requires rest, that just as the human body cannot sustain continuous output, the earth must also be given time to recover, to restore its nutrients, to prepare for future cycles. And this understanding reflects a broader principle, that sustainability depends not only on action, but on restraint, on the willingness to pause rather than push forward prematurely. Rituals, songs, and storytelling often accompany this time, preserving memory and passing forward knowledge, ensuring that what has been learned during the season is not lost, but integrated, becoming part of the collective wisdom that will guide future cycles. And in this, rest becomes a space of transmission, where experience is transformed into understanding and shared across generations. This story reveals that rest is not separate from productivity, but intertwined with it, that without periods of recovery, both the individual and the community risk depletion, and that by honoring the rhythm of completion, one creates the conditions for future growth to occur naturally and sustainably. The harvest rest teaches that there is a time to act and a time to stop, and that recognizing the difference between the two is itself a form of wisdom, allowing life to move in balance rather than in strain. In the end, these traditions stand as a reminder that completion is not only about finishing what was started, but about allowing what has been done to become whole, to be acknowledged, shared, and integrated before anything new begins, showing that rest is not a break in the cycle, but a vital part of it, ensuring that what comes next is not forced, but supported by what has already been fully lived.